Okay, good morning children. For the second year English medium, third chapter enzymes continuation. Okay, in last class so far we discussed about the factors affecting the enzyme activity. Especially in these we discussed about the four factors, especially temperature, pH, concentration of the substrate, and fourth one binding of specific chemicals. So these are the four factors that can affect the enzyme activity. About temperature, pH also discussed. About the temperature, pH graphs also we discussed in last class. Especially what is the optimum temperature? At the optimum temperature only enzyme they can show highest activity. Enzymes which can show highest activity at the optimum temperature and pH. So below the optimum temperature and pH, the enzymes temporarily inactive. Above the optimum temperature, the enzyme activity destroys. Why? Because of the high temperature, because of the high heat, proteins are denatured. So that's why in high temperature and in low temperature, the enzyme activity is not sufficient. So enzyme shows its highest activity only at optimum temperature only. Okay. So optimum temperature and optimum pH both are necessary to carry out the catalytic cycle of enzymes. Okay, next one, what is the substrate concentration? Suppose if the concentration of the substrate will increase, the velocity of the enzyme action also increases. Whenever the reaction reaches the maximum velocity, which was not exceeded further, once the reaction reached maximum velocity, because of the increasing concentration of the substrate, the activity of enzyme reaction also, the velocity of the enzyme activity is also increased. Once the reaction reaches the maximum velocity, which will not further exceed by any raise in concentration of the substrate. Why? Because here the enzyme molecules are very less than substrate molecules. After saturation of these molecules, there are no free enzyme molecules that are bound with additional substrate molecules. So that's why once the reaction reaches the maximum velocity, there is no change which will not exceed further with any increase in concentration of the substrate. And one more thing here you can remember, the substrate concentration required to cause of the maximum reaction rate is termed as Michaelis-Menten constant. The substrate concentration requires to cause of the maximum reaction rate, that is termed as Michaelis-Menten constant, which is a symbol of Km. So what is the substrate concentration? The substrate concentration which is required to cause of the maximum rate of reaction. So that type of the constant is called Michaelis-Menten constant. So next, a fourth factor, binding of specific chemicals. Suppose if any of the chemicals which will bind to the enzyme, then the enzyme activity decreases. So that chemicals are called inhibitors. The process is called inhibition. So inhibition is mainly three types. Yesterday we discussed. One is competitive inhibition, second one non-competitive inhibition, third one feedback inhibition. Especially in the first one, competitive inhibition. In this competitive inhibition, the inhibitor was structurally similar with the substrate. The inhibitor structurally similar with substrate. So the inhibitor compete with the substrate and substrate binding site of the enzyme. So in this situation, the substrate cannot bind with the enzyme. So in this situation also, the enzyme activity decreases. So that type of the inhibitors which having structural similarity with the substrate, because of this structural similarity of the substrate, the inhibitor compete the substrate and by active site of the active binding site of the enzyme. So in this situation, substrate cannot bind with the enzyme. So that type of the inhibition is called competitive inhibition. That type of the inhibitors are called competitive inhibitors. Best example, inhibition of succinic dehydrogenase by the inhibitor malonate. The malonate is structurally similar with the substrate succinate. That is the example you can remember. But what about non-competitive inhibitors? Well, what is non-competitive inhibition? In this non-competitive inhibition, the inhibitor doesn't have any structural similarity with the substrate, but it can form enzyme inhibitor complex other than active site. There is no structural similarity between the inhibitor and substrate, but the inhibitor they can form enzyme inhibitor complex other than active site. So in this situation, the globular structure of the enzyme changed. In this situation, the enzyme activity also declines. So this type of the competition is called, this type of the inhibition is called non-competitive inhibition. So this type of the inhibitors are called non-competitive inhibitors. Best example, all the metal ions, copper, mercury, silver, all the metal ions, these are all non-competitive inhibitors. Next last, what is feedback inhibition? Yesterday we discussed. The end product of chain of enzyme catalytic reactions that inhibit the first, that inhibit the enzyme of first reaction as a part of homeostatic metabolism. As a part of homeostatic metabolism, the end product of chain of enzyme catalytic reactions that can inhibit the enzyme of first reaction. So end product they can inhibit the end product that can inhibit the enzyme of first reaction as a part of homeostatic metabolism. So that is feedback inhibition. So far we discussed yesterday classification and nomenclature of the enzyme. Enzymes are classified into 6 classes and 4 to 13 subclasses. Each enzyme is identified with 4-digit number. Okay, so 6 classes. What are the 6 classes? Oxidoreductase, that is also called dehydrogenase, and transferase, hydrolase, isomerase, lyase, ligase. These are the 6 classes of the enzymes. Yesterday we discussed, especially oxidoreductase, which cause oxidation and reaction between the two substrates. Between the two substrates, there should be oxidation and there should be reduction process is carried out with the help of the enzyme name oxidoreductase. For example, here they given malate and NADP in the presence of dehydrogenase, in the presence of dehydrogenase or in the presence of oxidoreductase enzyme, the malate oxidized into oxaloacetate, NADP reduced into NADPH. So the enzyme oxidoreductase, which is very useful to carry out oxidation and reaction process between the two substrates. That is the example of this particular reaction, and under the presence of the enzyme oxidoreductase, malate is oxidized into oxaloacetate, NADP reduced into NADPH. So here one example here they given how we can identify the enzyme with a 4-digit number. Here one example here they given glucose 6-phosphotransferase, that is the enzyme. The enzyme 4-digit number here they given 2712 4-digit number 2712, that is the enzyme of glucose 6-phosphate transferase. 2712. Here the first digit indicate major class, second digit indicate subclass, third digit indicate subclass, fourth digit indicates serial number of the subclass. So this is about the one of the example to the nomenclature of the enzyme. Each enzyme is identified with 4-digit number. Okay. But what are cofactors? Last topic of this third chapter, enzymes, cofactors. Already you know that enzymes are composed of one or several polypeptide chains. Enzymes are composed of one of several polypeptide chains. Polypeptide chains. Enzymes are composed of several polypeptide chains. However, there are a number of cases in which non-protein components, enzymes having non-protein constituents, means non-protein components. The non-protein component is called cofactors. Cofactors are what? Non-protein components. Non-protein components. Non-protein components are called cofactors. Okay. There are non-protein components are there. The non-protein components are called cofactors. Okay, these cofactors bound to the enzyme. Whenever these cofactors are bind to the enzyme to make the enzyme catalytically active. Whenever these cofactors are non-protein components. Whenever these cofactors are bind to the enzyme to make the enzyme catalytically active. To make the enzyme, whenever these cofactors are bind to the enzyme to make the enzyme catalytically active. To make the enzyme catalytically active. Whenever these cofactors are bind to the enzyme, they can make the enzyme catalytically active. So, for example, the protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. One more thing here you can remember. Non-protein component is cofactors. The protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. Apoenzyme. What is apoenzyme? What is apoenzyme? Means protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. Protein portion of the enzyme. Protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. Protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. So here there are mainly cofactors. Mainly 3 types of the cofactors are there. Cofactors are nothing but non-protein components. Whenever these cofactors are attached with the enzyme, they can increase catalytically active to the enzyme. But here, what is apoenzyme? Especially the the protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. Here you can see there are mainly 3 cofactors. Cofactors are mainly 3 types. But what are the 3 cofactors? Here you can see prosthetic group, coenzymes, metal ions. Prosthetic group nani. Prosthetic group, coenzymes, metal ions. Prosthetic group. Prosthetic group. Second one, coenzymes. Prosthetic group, coenzyme, metal ions. Prosthetic group, coenzymes and metal ions. But what is prosthetic group? Prosthetic groups are the organic compounds. They are tightly bound to the apoenzyme. Prosthetic group is nothing but these are the organic compounds. Prosthetic groups are nothing but organic compounds. Prosthetic groups are nothing but organic compounds which can bind to the apoenzyme, tightly. Okay, this is the first one. What prosthetic group nothing but they are the organic compounds which can bind the apoenzyme tightly. Prosthetic group. Second one, coenzymes. Coenzymes are also organic compounds. Same coenzyme like prosthetic group. Coenzymes are also organic compounds, but their association with the apoenzyme is only transient, means temporary. Same coenzymes also bind to the coenzymes are organic compounds which are bind to the apoenzyme, but not like a prosthetic group. Here these prosthetic groups they can bind with the apoenzyme tightly, but whereas in coenzymes, these coenzymes are also organic compounds, but their association with the apoenzyme is transient, means temporary. Transient. Their association, the coenzymes association with apoenzyme is transient, temporary. Okay, means usually during the time of catalysis, at that time only, during the time of catalysis only, these coenzymes bind to the apoenzyme, but the association is temporary at the time of catalytic process only. At the time of catalytic process, at that time only, the coenzymes attached with the apoenzyme. And one more thing here you can remember, these coenzymes loosely bound to the apoenzyme. These coenzymes are loosely bound to the apoenzyme. These coenzymes are loosely bound to the apoenzyme. These coenzymes are loosely bound to the apoenzyme. Next, metal ions. Okay, coenzymes, these are also organic compounds, but which can bind with the apoenzyme temporarily, loosely, which are bind with the apoenzyme loosely, not tightly, but that is temporary also. Okay, temporary means at the time of catalytic process only, they can bind with the coenzymes bind with the apoenzyme at the time of catalytic process only. The last one, metal ions. A number of enzymes required metal ions for their activity which form coordination bonds with the active site. So these metal ions are compulsory. Why? Because these metal ions are very necessary for their activity, for the enzyme activity, which form coordination bonds with the active site. At the same time, they can form one or more coordination bonds with the substrate. And they can form coordination bonds with active site, and also at the same time they can form coordination bonds with substrate. Best example, zinc. Okay, best example, zinc, metal ion. Best example, zinc. Okay, these metal ions, these are very useful for activity of the enzyme, which can form coordination bonds with active site. At the same time, they can form one or more coordination bonds with substrate. Best example of the metal ions, zinc. So this is about the brief information of the cofactors. Cofactors are nothing but non-protein components. Whenever these cofactors are bind with the enzyme which can catalytically active. But what is apoenzyme? Protein portion of the enzyme is called apoenzyme. Cofactors are mainly three types. Prosthetic group. This prosthetic group is nothing but these are the organic compounds which can bound with the apoenzyme tightly. Coenzymes. Coenzymes are also organic compounds which can bound to the apoenzyme loosely, but this association, the coenzymes association with apoenzyme is only temporary at the time of catalytic process only. Next, metal ions. Number of metal ions are required for enzyme activity. These metal ions, especially, this can form coordination bonds with the active site. At the same time, they can form one or more coordination bonds with the substrate. The best example to the metal ion is zinc. So this is the cofactors. Detailed information about the cofactors. Okay, thank you children. In tomorrow class we are going to start the fourth chapter, photosynthesis in higher plants. Okay.